What's going on, guys? Unknown Player here, and today once again we're going to be discussing a bunch of Destiny 2 related news and bits of info that have come out recently. Quite a variety of different topics like the raid and confirmation of exotic missions, all the activities on Nessus, and a bunch more things as well. But firstly, let's discuss some good news that actually came from an interview done by Finder.au with Mark Noseworthy from Bungie, of course. So he was asked about keeping content fresh and dynamic ways to mix things up for people who play the game a lot. So Mark described how they want to have a variety of content that also keeps the game's longevity, like for example, one Saturday night when a secret mission gets turned on and everyone's freaking out wondering what's going on. So what he's referring to is those missions we had back in the Taken King that led to the Black Spindle and Sleeper Simulant, no time to explain. Basically random times when Bungie would flip a switch and activate a heroic version of a mission that has an exotic tied to it, and it led to those exotics. So it really caught everyone by surprise, and there was like a million Reddit posts trying to figure out what's going on, and you never knew when one would get set live when we'd find a new exotic like Time to Explain, Black Spindle, or Sleeper Simulant. So this is confirming a similar thing returning for Destiny 2. Obviously I wouldn't expect it to be the exact same way, but we know some kind of similar thing like we saw back in the Taken King, with surprise that secret missions will be in Destiny 2. So we also know that tomorrow IGN is going to be doing their first PvP reveal, and this is going to be the new and slightly changed control game mode, how it's been adapted for Destiny 2, and also a never before seen Crucible map which has been specifically designed for control as well. So on their Fireteam Chat podcast, they teased the name of the map, which is called Endless Vale. So when you hit Endless, you can almost guarantee it's going to be Vex related. And something I thought of is that maybe this map could take place on Mercury. Aside from Mercury being a Vex, obviously, planet, we did see that clip of them flying into Mercury. So it's possible, but either way, the new map called Endless Vale is going to be shown off tomorrow, so definitely keep an eye out for it. So pretty cool to see some brand new gameplay on a map we've never seen before. So next up, let's talk some more about Nessus and all the available content we caught a glimpse of briefly. We saw this in a recent video, but a Reddit user called AVP Freak actually went through and merged all the images of the map into one, so we can see almost the full map for Nessus. As it currently stands, it does look like there might be more to the right and maybe to the bottom as well. And of course, this is an early build, so things will definitely change. This isn't final, and there's stuff missing from here. But so far, we can see almost the full picture, and we can round up what is where. So you got 5 lost sectors on Nessus, 7 adventures, 3 public events, although some of them are probably missing because some of them will be inactive. So these 3 are probably the only active ones going on right now at the time this is taken. There's also this green icon which does appear twice and it moves around in different locations, possibly a patrol icon, not sure what that means. You've also got 5 of these icons which we know are treasure maps. There's also 4 fast travel spots where you can zip around the map if you want to. And now the most interesting thing is there's 21 of these crosses, which have caused the most speculation. A lot of people think these might be 21 story missions on Nessus, which I kind of personally doubt. I mean, I would love that to be the case, but I personally don't think it's that likely, because that would mean roughly 20 missions on each planet would total to 80 missions in the entire game, which I think is a bit unrealistic. I don't think Destiny 2 is going to launch with 80 missions. In Destiny 1, for comparison, we had 5 missions on each planet, so 20 on each planet would be quite a leap, and I think the real amount is probably somewhere in between those. But even though I would love there to be 20 missions for each planet, I think what this is more likely to be would be scannable objects for lore. And I say that because the icon is a little bit similar to the Ishtar Collective, and they did a lot of the science behind the Golden Age and a lot of research, documenting all, kind of categorizing it into libraries. So it does look a little bit like that with the cross and the DOS in the middle. So my personal guess is that these might be some kind of scannables for lore, but I think it's doubtful there's going to be 21 story missions just on Nessus alone, although it would be really, really cool. I would love that. Now, another big question mark is, of course, this purple crown, which I touched on, but I think this is bound to be a story mission or a quest. Bungie did say in a previous interview how they don't want you to open up your map and just see a mess of story icons absolutely everywhere, because it's hard to know which one to do next and where you stand. So they're going to be streamlining it, and this does make a lot of sense that you have this one story icon that maybe moves around the map and auto selects basically what mission you're on. So it's kind of clear to know which your next mission or quest is. But those are my thoughts on this map. Like I said, it's still early days, so a lot of stuff is going to be missing from this map, but it's still pretty interesting to look at what we can see so far. So next up, let's talk about the raid in Destiny 2. So over the past couple weeks, a bunch of small bits of info have come out from like 5 different interviews all over the place. So I've collected them all into one video, and things worth knowing about essentially, and also some of my theories that I've come up with about the raid itself. So Luke Smith spoke with Mashable about the raid and the kind of themes that generally for it. So he said Vault of Glass is all about splitting your team apart. Crota is about the hero moments and responsibility, especially using the sword. King's Fall is about traversing the space, platforming and puzzles, and Wrath is about big blockbuster moments with glorious combat. So with raid number 5, which is Destiny 2's raid, there's a sense of place there. We want people to look upon it and feel like it's a real place. When creating the location for the 5th raid, the goal was to build somewhere that you could believe would be real, and it's unlike anything we've done before. And then it also teased a big secret about the raid, which it obviously isn't going to share yet. So it sounds very strange and cryptic, which is to be expected, of course, with the raid, details always being kept so secretive. So my impression is that the environment could be a big factor here. When he talks about it being a real place, I think the world could be alive and maybe you interact with it as opposed to it just being a map while you fight enemies. I'm kind of getting the idea that the environment might be a part of this. And it also ties into where I personally think the raid could be taking place on. Now, nobody really knows where it's going to be. It's not been announced yet, and it's very hard to know. But after looking at a couple more shots, I'm like 90% sure that it is going to be inside the European Dead Zone near the Shard of the Traveler. Now, Bungie tweeted this clip, which we know is a part of the raid, and this clip is also inside the European Dead Zone in the trailer, and this looks identical. It's like a swampy forest, it's all purple, it's misty, and you can see this is set next to Traveler. So I feel like the two locations are almost identical, and I think there's only one place where you could see a purple kind of swampy forest like this. So I do think, honestly, the raid could be in the European Dead Zone next to the Shard of the Traveler. So with all the locations we've seen so far, it does make the most sense. You got the whole mystery of the Traveler Shard, which is decaying, and its light is corrupting the forest around it. So I can imagine some kind of strange mutations going on. Maybe the world comes to life, because who knows what could happen when the Traveler's light can start corrupting and decaying stuff around it. I'm imagining some really weird stuff going on, but we know also there's a Cabal base in the same area of the European Dead Zone, and it does match this other clip we've seen inside the raid, which is this Cabal facility. So those are my predictions, but of course let me know your thoughts down below. So the next thing Luke revealed was about the release date window of the raid itself for Destiny 2. So he said it's going to be similar to King's Fall and also Wrath of the Machine. If you didn't know, those released 2.5 days in between their launch window, which was on the Tuesdays, and the raid launch on the Friday, which wasn't good, honestly. It made us rush through the content and generally speed farm everything as possible to try and get into the raid as quick as possible. And I really hope with Destiny 2 there's a much bigger gap than definitely 2.5 days. Otherwise, it's going to mean a lot of us blitzing through content and not really stopping to enjoy it because we want to get to the raid as fast as possible and essentially do the blind experience without being spoiled, because otherwise everyone's going to be talking about the raid and you want to get into it on day one. So that kind of forces you to speed through content, and especially seeing as the King's Fall and Wrath of the Machine were just expansions, they were DLCs. This is an entire game, a brand new sequel, so I'm hoping Bungie gives us like at least a week minimum. If it was up to me, I'd say like 2 or 3 weeks, but from this interview, it seems like it won't be that long. But Luke did say how there should be plenty of time for people to get prepared and be very powerful. So I think what it sounds like that might happen is the raid might just be at a really low level. It'll still be difficult, but there's going to be a shorter window, which means the level cap doesn't have to be as high. But they're going to be revealing more details about the raid this summer, so of course stay tuned for that. But as always, if you enjoyed the video, a like rating would be much appreciated. Drop all your thoughts and comments down below in the comment section, and I'll see you guys in the next one.